Alright guys, well, this is an introduction to a little bit of a project I am doing. I am currently trying to make a 3D printable Fallout 4 Corvega Atomic V8 kit, or at least a bunch of files in order to be able to print this thing. I've spent a lot of time on this so far. I did not create the file you see in front of you. This is actually the original game files where I have gone through and cleaned up the meshes in Mesh Mixer and combined all the parts appropriately, so all the doors are one piece and all that kind of jazz. So this is the original game files as they are. Yeah, like I said, my intention for this thing is to be able to pull off all the proper pieces, the hood, the grill, the doors, and all that stuff, and have them separate so they can both be painted and finished correctly, and the body can be finished correctly, as well as actually have some functioning parts with this, as well as making it a lot easier to print, because without dissolvable support material, this is literally impossible to print as is, because you'd never be able to get the support material out of the interior of the car. But yeah, I mean, at current, I have spent about a month cleaning up these files in Blender. As they are video game CAD files, they are a complete mess. No offense to video game graphics artists, but yeah, I mean, they're designed to look good in a video game. They're not designed to be a actual solid object that can be 3D printed, or that can even exist in real life, because a lot of these parts are intersecting each other, which is a problem. Not to mention, there are a bunch of fault problems with this where it wouldn't work in real life, as far as such as the back door is not a suicide door. It opens normally, but there is no actual B-pillar to attach it to. That I'm going to have to make a B-pillar, which is going to require me to modify the looks of the interior a little bit, but for functionality, I feel it's worth it. Unless I decide just to glue the back doors in place and just have the front doors functioning. I don't know. We'll see. I am mostly done cleaning up the files in Blender to where they actually mesh and they're actually solid objects and where they actually will print. Yeah, I mean, I've got the hard part over with. The rest of it's just tedious BS. Hopefully somebody is actually interested in this, because I know Fallout in general is a very popular game series, and I'm hoping somebody would actually be interested in actually having one of the cars from Fallout, even though they aren't really, to be honest, a major part of the game. You don't really do anything with them in the game. But yeah, I mean, I am actually very impressed by the model. It's the raw model itself. I mean, it is fairly detailed. The seat, there's all seats in it. I've got a few of them removed just because I've reduced this as much as I can. And you know, like that seat, I can just print it 4 times. They're all identical. And the steering column, the steering wheel and the steering column are removable, and the dashboard's removable. I've got these top roof rails removable. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to print the roof. The reason I want this whole thing, roof rail up here, removable, as well as this back windshield bar thing, is because I am thinking about, well, there's a couple reasons. Number one, I don't want to have any infill to support this roof, so I'm thinking about dividing it up into 3 sections, 1, 2, 3, when I actually print this thing, and just have it laying on the edge when I actually print this thing. Let's see here. And then the other reason is I'm thinking about printing these roof rails in one piece all the way down to these windshield post deals, and then having them either printing them in one piece and chrome foiling them, because they are metal in the game, or making a DXF file out of them, having them laser cut out of whatever thickness aluminum. It's probably going to be 16th inch, and then bending them slightly because they're not completely on one plane, and then using a file and getting these points up here correct and all, all that stuff, and getting them polished and put in, or polishing them and put them in. I do have chrome polishing experience because I have rebuilt a couple classic motorcycles. And then the grill, and so yeah, I mean that's what I'm planning on doing with that. I might do something similar with the bumper. Maybe not originally, because this is going to be a hell of a lot of work even without that, but at some point. And then the grill, the grill thing, I got my arrow on right here. This is like the grill support, I'm calling it, and that this needs to be chromed somehow. I'm still researching how to do that, either chrome tape or chrome paint, or they actually have vacuum metallization service, which I need to get a quote on. And then the actual grill here, it looks like a grill in the game, like an actual grill, not just a flat piece here, but as you can see, it's just a flat piece. In reality, it's just a texture. So I'm thinking about recreating this part and actually making it, the 3D model itself, a grill, to be a grill. And then there's also a heater vent up here. Well, there's the vent up here on real 50s cars. This is the heater vent up here. The heater, or heater vent, or just if you don't have the heater on, just the grill vent, or the where you get fresh air into the car. As I am rebuilding the inspiration for this car, a 1957 Plymouth, which apparently is the inspiration for this game file. I'm pretty familiar with classic cars. Yeah, I mean, that's, anyway, point of what I'm trying to say is that's why I'm calling this a heater vent. So yeah, I mean, I gotta remake that and cut that in, and I'll probably decide what I do for the actual grate above that at some point. I'm trying to see if there's like a model website where I can buy like scale mesh like that, if I'm even speaking coherently here. As far as the back, yeah, I mean, same thing. I mean, I've got the taillight pulled off along with these little trim pieces as one piece. I still got to clean these up in Blender because they're a mess, as are most of these files are a complete mess. I still got to clean, and I'm gonna have the chrome these somehow. These taillights I'm gonna make out of red plastic of some sort. I'm still trying to figure that out. And when I print this thing, I am going to make the headlights and taillights actually function. I just think it'd be a cool little thing to add. And yeah, along with all this stuff, the reactor turbine thing here, and then the rear bumper and all that kind of crap. This thing, another thing is, like, it took me a while to figure out, find a program that would actually smooth these parts correctly, because they look smooth here and they look smooth in the game, but in reality they're really not. When you're doing virtual stuff like this, you can turn what's called shading off, and so even when you have flat faces, it's going to look like it's curved with the shading off. But if I hit W here and actually show the wireframe, if that's going to show up here, you can see this thing is a blocky mess, and if I were to print it, it would require a lot of post-print finishing. So after experimenting with Blender and learning Blender, first of all, for about a month, I have actually managed to smooth all these parts out to how they actually look in the game. And believe me, I've spent a lot of time. Like, I've got this back body shell clip, everything from the C-pillar back, minus the trunk lid, pulled off, and it's literally taken me probably 20-25 hours in Blender, this piece alone, just to get this cleaned up and made into a solid object, and smoothed to where it's smoothing correctly, because it's an automatic smoothing feature in Blender called subdivide, to where it'll actually looks okay. And then once I get all these parts cleaned up and actually cleaned up and actually printable. I've got to reassemble the car virtually and make sure everything still fits together, and I know for a fact it's not going to, because there's a bunch of parts intersecting in even this model, much less the original, much less the modified files. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I think that's all I want to talk about. I mean, please tell me in the comments if this is actually something that other people are interested in other than me, because I think it's a cool project. I'm also probably, when I print this thing, maybe not initially, but I am going to make this thing to where it is an RC car. It's not going to be anything fast or anything that handles. I just want it to be able to move under its own power. I think it'd be add a certain amount of I don't know, badassness to the project in general. On that note, if anybody actually knows where I can get, this thing's going to be approximately 1/16 scale. If anybody know where I can actually get 1/16 inch or 1/16 scale wide white wall rubber tires, I would greatly appreciate it. My printer, or if somebody can find me some decent CAD files of 50 style white walls, that would also be great. I haven't found any yet. Yeah, I could use I still got one of the wheels over here. I could use these, but the detail there's no detail on them, and I don't know. And to be honest, they're a little too wide. Well, I don't know. I might leave the width, because I'm trying to keep to the authenticity of this thing as much as possible. Like, I don't want it to look any different than what's in the game, or at least as close as possible. But there are no details on these wheels for obvious reasons, because you only view them for one scene in the game, the beginning scene of the game, and for the rest of there's no wheels on any of the cars after the bombs fall. So and then I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the hubcaps exactly. We'll see. But yeah, anyway, yeah, I mean, please give me your input on this project. At least like it, tell me other people are interested in this besides me, because I am going to make these files available. I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm thinking about posting them on like Etsy, not Etsy, I can't think of the website right now where you can buy STLs. I kind of feel bad about selling this thing, but I'm gonna have, I have been working on this project on and off for about 6 months, so I mean, I'm gonna have a shit ton of work into this by the time I'm done, and $20 for all these files I don't think is too bad, or I might even do 10, or it might even be free. I'm not even sure if I can legally sell these even after I've heavily modified everything. I'm still trying to figure that out as well. Anyway, yeah, please give me your input. I would greatly appreciate it, and let me know if this is if this is something that other people would be interested in besides me. I might do the other cars as well. I have files for all the other cars in the game, yeah. Alright guys, well, this is going to be part 1 in a series. Hopefully the next part will be coming out soon. Thank you. Bye.